Today, I want to talk about investing in modern rarities. And this is one of the subjects that is a little difficult to explain or at least get into because some of it is like a perfect storm. Things just come together where a coin becomes very valuable based off of several factors. Because we're talking about modern coinage and most of them are still in the survival. They survived because they were not put into circulation. Whereas when you have the older type of rarities, they went through circulations and melts and the survival rate is lower. So when you're talking about modern coins, it takes other events or catalysts to make them more valuable or rare or in demand. And the first thing is first, to get the demand, there has to be a popularity for the design. If the design is already popular, already being collected, and let's say the mint issues or reissues, then you're going to see some hype. And that hype is going to create that interest and that demand. So mintage is going to be important there because if it's a lower mintage, it will help out a whole lot in the value for the future for it to increase. Sometimes, though, the mintage is too high and popularity can wane, or at least the values drop after market. So we saw that with the 2021 Morgan dollars versus the 23s and the 25s. So that's one of the things you have to consider too. Silver Eagles, for instance, the 95W, it came down a little bit, but it rose for a long time and is still very valuable, as well as the 2019 Enhanced. But we're going to talk about this. Now, the first thing I want to show you is I bought a complete collection of platinum 10th ounce. I have a complete collection of Jefferson proof nickels. These are all graded. These are all low mintage issues. And then I have two gold coins, and these are not really considered modern, but I do want to talk about them because it highlights the exact thing I'm talking about when it comes to a mint issue that wasn't intended for in circulation, or at least wasn't circulated as much as other coins. And that's these two. I have the 1917 McKinley, Mint State 65. And they're really tiny coins, of course. And this one is the 1922 Mint State 66 Grant with a star. This is the one I want to talk about, but we're going to talk about both of them. But this is the main one right here. Almost like a little privy mark, that star. It's in cuse on the coin. So I have the 1917 McKinley, which is a mintage of 5,000. And in 65, it has a value of $850 retail. The 16 McKinley Memorial had a mintage of 15,000. And in 65, it's $725. The thing is that it's all about the popularity of the design, and probably with these, some of these probably did circulate. So there is a survival rate issue with these. But the Grant with the star had a mintage of 5,016. The plain 5,016. Same mintage, but look at the values of the star. This is what I'm talking about when something is more popular. And the reason for that also, I think, is with this. So you've got the silver half dollar, and the mintage on that one's 67,405. Nothing really rare there. But you have one with a star as well on the silver half dollar, and that mintage is 4,256. And it has the star as well as the gold. So it just made it more popular. People wanted both of the ones with the star. It became the thing. The hype was there, and it has remained that way, and that's why one's worth more than the other, even though they have the same mintages when it comes to the gold. So that's what I'm talking about, a perfect storm. Okay, you got popularity already as far as it's being a gold coin, and it's being a commemorative, and it's going to be low mintage, and it's going to have a star on it, and the other one's not. You're getting something what you think's different, and it's going to match with your half dollar that has the star, and it's just kind of a perfect storm that made that kind of a rarity. Or at least a valuable rarity, even though to me 5,000 is a rare vintage, even if most of them survived. So when it comes to the Jefferson nickels, like I said, I had that complete collection that I showed everybody, and we talked about how low the mintages are, and they are very low. The other thing we didn't really touch on much is the re-engraved obverse design. And I was looking through these, and this 38, PR66, and CAC, it actually has a re-engraved. So it's FS 102. What you look for is right here. On the ribbon there, on the hair, on the wig, that's what you want to look for. And you look at the images and compare it, and that's what I came up with. And there are some double dyes for these as well. So you do want to look for those when it comes to these modern rarities, because I mean, these are low mintages. All these nickels are. Some of them are extremely low for what I would consider a modern. It's not so modern. I mean, really modern's 55 and after, but we're getting into issues that just didn't circulate. That's why I'm kind of getting into that. So, 19,365. A lot of people are like, well, they're nickels. They're not that popular. I understand that. There's not enough to go around. There's not enough people collecting them. But we're going to look at an example here in a minute that's kind of going to shake the foundation of that a little bit. So the platinum. So I have all of these platinum eagles, and they're the $10 ones. And these were from 1997 to 2008 is what I have in these. These are the proof issues. So you make sure when you're looking at PCGS, you're looking at the proof issues. This was a part of a registry set, and here's the 98. The thing about the 97, that I do have the first one here, is the mintage is not that low. The lowest mintage on these is the 2004. And I'll probably pass it up here. Yeah. So this one's a 2004, and they did change the design of the reverses on each year on these platinums, the platinum proofs, that is. The bullion they did not. So you can see the different reverses, and they're beautiful coins. Just little small, 10th ounce of platinum. And here are the mintages, as I was talking about. Your 97Ws, 36,993. Your 2004 is only 7,161. So you would consider that as a key date. I know they didn't circulate, but that's a low mintage. Prices just don't reflect it. I mean, there's a little premium on these. Some of these you just don't see for sale very often. The 2004 is one of them because people have bought them. But there's just not that many people looking for these to run the price up. The demand is not there. They weren't that popular. I mean, they were just platinum coins that people bought and they collected. But it's just, I know a lot of people are like, well, there's just not enough of them. There's just this and this. There's all these different arguments against. But that's something I want to talk about too. Right here. Because this design is so popular and it's in a silver dollar size form, these were issued, and I mean, they weren't that much. I mean, they were a lot for the time, but they weren't, the issue price was nothing compared to what they're worth now. And they have retained that value. And here is the proof, 272,869 is the mintage. And yet these are, as you can see, the prices here, even the ones that are lower, the Robert F. Kennedy, all these other ones, look at the prices compared and the mintages. Just because that design is more popular, that buffalo design, the bison design. So you can say whatever you want to say, but it's not always the mintage. It's, like I said, the perfect storm. So if the mint is releasing a real popular design, like the 95W with the Silver Eagle is very popular, highly collected, you know that a low mintage version of these is going to go up in value. It's going to remain, it's going to go above issue price, and it's going to keep that value. So that's something to consider. The 2019, as you can see, it's the enhanced. It's 29,000. It's the lowest mintage, and the prices on that. So some of these are accidental. Like the 95W, no one thought that a Silver Eagle was ever going to be worth that much. They just put it in with the gold. It's kind of a bonus with the gold proofs. And next thing you know, it's wham. I mean, it was huge. Now, that doesn't mean that all these are ever going to be worth that much. It's going to take something to increase the hype. I mean, I do videos on this stuff all the time, off and on. But you can see all these low mintage coins that are, I call them modern, within 100 years. I know that that's not really considered modern. I mean, these are kind of like mid-modern. But they are coins that, if you can get a good deal on them, you can possibly have something you're investing in if you don't pay the high retail. I mean, you might have to buy off a collector locally. You can put an ad in the newspaper. I'm not saying you're supposed to lowball people. That's not the point. But getting the best deal off coins that nobody wants. As you go to a dealer, you're probably going to pay premium pluses because they know what they have. They want all the money. I'm not saying all dealers are like that. I'm just saying that you can find some of this stuff at wholesale. Setting up at coin shows. I mean, if you have a coin collection, nobody says you have to sell your coins by setting up at a coin show. I mean, you might have some duplicates. You can get a table at a coin show in a couple of cases. Make connections. Get you a badge. You can buy wholesale off some dealers. Some dealers will sell to you. And that might be a route to go if you're really into this. I mean, a casual collector, this doesn't mean anything. But if you're a serious collector and you really kind of consider it's an investment, this is probably one of the best routes to go. And the other thing is like I said, I mentioned the varieties. You want to look for varieties in modern coin sets, for modern coins in general. You do have the 99W 10th ounce gold coin. That's another one to look for. You go through the books and you look at the ones that are the red books, perfect example of it. Go through and you can highlight or make you a list of the modern rarities or the modern varieties that you can look for that you might be able to even find in regular sets. Then the other thing is condition rarities. If you are really advanced and you know how to grade coins, there's potential to find coins that will grade really high. And I have a couple examples of that I can show you. These coins were in an album, and initially when they're in the album, I thought they might look like it might be a little bit, maybe a little clean, but I don't think they are. And I pulled them out of our thing because I thought, you know what, we're probably do better if we send them off. And that's what I'm going to do with these, because I think we got them priced a little too low, because most of them were cleaned in the album. These are not cleaned in my opinion. So we'll find out, because I'm going to send them off. So that way, if you buy the $50 that are ungraded, sometimes you can do that. If you buy these gold commemoratives ungraded, little things like that. If you buy the 2001, I don't know about the 2001 Buffalo. That mintage is so high. It's really kind of surprising that it is worth that much. But it has retained its value, and there's enough of them out there still where you can send them off for grading and try to get the 70 and get the condition grade on top of the coin itself. And I recommend that with this one, because I don't know if the Buffalo, I mean, it might sustain this value that it has, being worth around $100 for each one of them, maybe 75 to 100. But if you get that 70, that's going to be the difficult. I think I was looking over on PCGS here, and there's like 3,547 70s in a PCGS holder, and 17,206.69. So a little condition rarity there. That might be the route to go with some of these. But the first thing you want to do is when you're looking at your red book, like I said before, look for the coins that have a high value, that are modern, kind of look out of place, and why they are. Then look at the grades over on population reports, over on PCGS, CoinFacts, NGC, and check out condition grade values. Now, for the future, you never know what's going to be popular, because the 2006 reverse proofs and all that, those sets were going for crazy money, and now they didn't hold the value. And it's hard to determine something is going to be worth something in the future versus something it's not. And so sometimes it's better off just buying what's already had a track record of being valuable. But then if the mint issues a new issue, you're looking for popularity of the design, low mintage, and a lot of hype. If you see that, that might be something worth investing in or buying. So thanks for watching my latest video. Please like, share, and comment, and have a great day.